People concerned about sustainable development suggest that meeting the needs of the future depends on how well we balance social, economic, and environmental objectives or needs when making decisions today. Representing the needs on a puzzle diagram, what social, economic, or environmental needs would you add to the puzzle? For example, if we can list clean air to breathe, but also a car for transportation, your needs might conflict. Which would you choose? And how would you make your decision? If within ourselves we have conflicting needs, how much is that multiplied when we look at a whole community, city, country, world? For example, what happens when a company's needs for cheap labor conflicts with workers' needs for livable wages? Or when individual families' needs for firewood conflict with the needs to prevent erosion and conserve topsoil? Or when one country's needs for electricity result in acid rain that damages another country's lake and rivers? Studying the puzzle raises a number of difficult questions. For example, what happens to the environment in the long term if a large number of people cannot afford to meet their basic household needs today? If you did not have access to safe water and therefore you needed wood to boil drinking water so that you and your children would not get sick, would you worry about causing deforestation? Or if you had to drive a long distance to get to work each day, would you be willing to move or get a new job to avoid polluting the air with your car exhaust? If we don't balance our social, economic, and environmental objectives in the short term, how can we expect to sustain our development in the long term? In addition, we do not have to forget the closer relationship between water, energy, and food, as we have seen that insecurity in one of these issues leads to insecurity in the remaining ones. Challenges include, for example, the significant quantities of water needed for energy processes, activities, and production, or the large amounts of water used in food production for irrigation and for industrially produced meat, the energy used in food production in post-harvest stages, and the negative environmental impacts of deforestation and overgrazing as a consequence to ensure energy and food. Many of these objectives may seem to conflict with each other in the short term. Yet, in the long term, responsible use of natural resources now will help ensure that there are resources available for sustained growth far into the future. The Brundtland Commission also specified that there is no set limit to growth in terms of population or resource use beyond which lies ecological disaster. Limits hold for use of energy, materials, water, and land. But accumulation of knowledge and the development of technology can enhance the carrying capacity of the resource base. Things are changing. In 1986, the World Commission on Environment and Development wrote, "A communication gap has kept environmental population and development assistance groups apart for too long. The gap is closing." Arriving at a commonly accepted definition of sustainable development remains a challenge for all the actors in the development process. Fortunately, this challenge has been faced and big steps have been done in the last 30 years.